Hello, and welcome to this edition of EMS Now Up Close. I am Eric Miskell with EMS Now, and I get the pleasure today of speaking with Joel Scutchfield, again, the General Manager of SMT Business Operations and Director of Sales at Koh Young America. I meant that only jokingly, Joel. You're always a pleasure to speak to.
that just rolls right off your tongue, doesn't it? It's I think maybe we've done this a time or two, haven't we? And always a pleasure. We're happy to be back talking with you again. And summer is now, I guess, unofficially over, but we start looking at the fall show season with some of the trade shows coming up, and then right into the end of the year, and then we start another one, right? Unbelievable. I don't know where this year went.
Repeat, right? Rinse and repeat again. So, hey, listen, I wanted to kind of go, I've spoken to you quite a few times before about the specific machines and the solutions that Koh Young manufactures and sells. So today I wanted to kind of focus more on the environment in which your machines operate and the challenges that the industry is facing, especially here in the United States. And then we can touch on how kind of Koh Young can, helps to improve and remedy some of those. So
sure.
What I had in mind were kind of the three big issues, kind of related issues, really, of kind of labor shortages, automation, and AI. The way I conceive of this is that labor shortages, have seemingly become the number one challenge for the industry globally, right? It's not just here. And then automation is seen as one of the solutions to that problem. And then AI is seen as a tool to help optimize the automation, right?
That's correct.
To deal with all of this. I mean, do I have that generally right? Is that kind of the flow?
That's certainly the way we see it. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Eric. And yeah, it's just amazing, the labor situation. And it seems to be just exacerbated by the need for more people, plant and equipment, et cetera, with the whole reshoring, nearshoring effort of standard SMT manufacturing, and then certainly with semiconductor as the CHIPS Act starts to enroll. And we hear of all these facilities that are popping up through all these major players in that world who want to do that here, and the kinds of challenges that they're now seeing in getting people, even at the very early stages, to get these plants built. So it's definitely a dilemma that I don't think we've really seen just the tip of the iceberg. I think at this point, Eric, is what we've seen, and we were talking a little earlier about TSMC and what they've got going on in Phoenix, and just the fact that
or don't have going on.
Yeah, or don't have going on, right? delaying the start. I mean, I startup of that particular operation due to people shortages in every facet of the endeavor. And it's funny. I remember seeing a quote. I believe it was from the chairman of TSMC when Micron announced their big expansion in upstate New York, and he said this reshoring, nearshoring of semiconductors will never work in America. They don't have enough people. They don't have enough people that want to do this, and so now I think he's seeing that a little bit. But you add to that just the massive plans for expansion in the EV world, in the green energy world, battery plants going up, particularly in the Midwest and the Mid-South, with some of the joint ventures between GM and Ford with some of the Korean companies, and it's just the amount of people they're going to need, and I just don't know where they're going to get them at this point.
But it's not really so much people, the number of people, it's the quality of the people, right? Because with TSMC, it started with the construction workers, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have the right construction skill to build these high-tech manufacturing facilities.
Yeah, class 10,000 clean rooms are a little different than some of the other manufacturing operations that that maybe we're used to slapping together quickly. So,
Right.
that's certainly a part of it. I think the other interesting note here is, when we talk about these numbers of people, and 5,000 was the number that I heard thrown out for the TSMC operation, and the potential of bringing, that or near that number of people from Taiwan to help get that operation started is pretty mind-boggling. But I think there's certainly an element of higher education, advanced degree need in these facilities, but then there's also a lot of other folks that contribute in a very positive way that maybe aren't necessarily degree required, but still need to show up and need to be there to do what needs to be done. So it's really multifaceted, and I think when we talk about the need for good labor for especially these semicon applications, we think of the advanced degree candidates, right? Or at least, college educated engineers, let's say, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's encompassing everything we need to be considering and take into account. So it'll be interesting.
No, I had pulled something from, it's a Semiconductor Industry Association's estimate. They said that by 2030, America's chip sector will face a shortage of 67,000 technicians, computer scientists, and engineers, and about another 1.4 million such workers throughout the wider economy. And then they set that against a total estimate of about 70,000 students who complete undergraduate degrees in engineering in the US every year, right? And that kind of points to the point of where are they, right? Those people.
Yeah, and they're not all going into these facilities, right? I mean, that's spread thin across the entire economy.
It's engineering writ large, too, right?
Exactly, and all facets of industry. So yeah, I think that's very poignant, and and that's the semicon piece, and then there's the battery piece, which will bring its own challenges with both the number of people required, the engineers, the degree and advanced degree folks. It's going to get real interesting, and I know a lot of schools are working to pull together these types of curriculum specifically for semicon. But again, you have to have people going into the program to come out of the program. And as you just alluded, a lot of people to meet the numbers that we're talking about. So it's going to be an interesting ride.
Yeah, and so which leads us to the second topic here of automation, right? So the automation now is seen as one of the solutions, maybe even as the main solution to this, for manufacturing landscape in the Americas.
It is, and we've been talking about that now for a while, haven't we? In fact, semicon, EV battery aside, it's in general to manufacture in high labor environments. Automation is going to have to play a big role, especially when you consider the low labor or low cost labor areas of the world that we're potentially bringing this from, or at least not sending to anymore. So we've got to figure out a way to level the playing field. And I think it's pretty well understood that automation is really the key to that, for again from the standpoint of cost and from the standpoint of being able to actually get enough people. So in our particular sector, SMT, semicon, et cetera, we see this as an opportunity. Obviously, it's the right kind of automation and the right kind of AI to drive that automation that is required. So, when we take a look at how we do what we do, and the fact that we have that very robust, reliable data set from which all of this derives. I mean, I guess that's, if you want to kind of jump right into the AI piece a little bit, Eric, we talked in the past about the fact that, data is really the key differentiator now for what I refer to as smart factory enablers. And that's really what we are. We manufacture inspection equipment, but that inspection equipment is a sensor which allows for, through the use of artificial intelligence, in some cases, full control of the screen printing operation, where we're controlling speed, pressure, and release on the printer itself, completely hands off. Similarly, in the mounter environment, where we can have feedback from a pre-reflow inspection tool to the mounter for anomalies related to position or feed or spindle nozzle. All of these things, self-correcting, self-healing, et cetera, et cetera. That's the key. That's the enablement, if you will, of smart factory, and that's what these folks that are doing what we serve here in this space are looking for, are asking for. So, I mean, we feel obviously like we have a distinct advantage here because of the fact that we have that extremely robust and reliable data set, being 3D at our core from the beginning, right kind, right way, right amount, that we can now use that as an advantage in this particular space to create the kind of tools that will allow for a reduced reliance on human intervention, which comes back to the people shortage, the labor shortage that you talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because it's easier to automate than it is to train up a whole new workforce, right? It's a heck of a lot quicker. And to what you're talking, then AI, but even within AI, it's the people training, right? Developing the algorithms and doing that. And then the machine learning who kind of starts building on itself, right?
Yeah,
so
very, very much so. I mean, there's the first condition is reliable data, as we've talked about, and that really comes from many forms, and being that measurable, again, right kind, right way, right amount is really huge. We have that, right? We have that, so we can put that to work first and foremost. It's basically a data-centric approach that we're using, and certainly that's our strength. So it just kind of feeds right into the fact that it's natural that we're going this direction, right? We need a lot of robust, meaningful, measurable data to be able to get this done. We have it. Now let's employ the efforts needed to create these very proprietary, data-centric AI engines to do those things I spoke of earlier, which is to create these KPO tools, process optimizer tools for taking control of the screen printer, removing the human element. Similarly with the mounter, providing the feedback to really move us towards that self-healing conceptual lights out approach. And again, there's going to be multiple steps here, Eric. It's not a flip the switch and AI controls everything today, right? I think there's operator assist that we have going on now, even with some of the tools that we're creating as a precursor to the full automation. But at the end of the day, it's all based on the machine learning, which is basically think like a human, mimic what human thinking does, and then incrementally improve in conjunction with the deep learning aspect, which is a form of machine learning that really now teaches computers to really think like humans. So kind of the autonomous car approach. So we're utilizing both of those, obviously, and again, there's several pieces in play with regards to that in terms of what we do. Obviously, our KAP tool, our Koh Young auto programming tool, K-Smart auto programming tool, which allows for basically the automated generation of a program through the use of, again, the deep learning and modeling, and being able to utilize these tools to apply AI models for anomaly mapping, let's say, and then make adjustments from there. But again, it's really all about trying to minimize the need for human intervention, and we'll do that incrementally. And as we go forward, we will move towards that full line control, self-healing, lights out goal, if you will.
Let me follow up on that, because one of the areas when I tour EMS, and we joked about this before this interview started, so I'm not catching Joel unprepared here. The whole issue of false call rates, right? Mm-hmm. Within AOI, especially when I talk to EMS, and they say, I just don't want to see some guy sitting there having to, the false calls hitting this. So how does that, to me, strikes me as something that AI should be able to help optimize, right? To eliminate that human intervention, which is just some guy pushing a button saying, let it go, let it go, let it go.
You're absolutely right, and that really does come back to the KAP tool, the auto programming tool that I just referred to. There's so many elements and so many factors that go into false call creation, and a lot of that has to do with the skill of the programmer, the way they set tolerances. A lot of it has to do with just the parts and the pad geometries being used, but if we can address the human element piece by automating that setting of package assignment, tolerances for all the various things that we're inspecting for in that inspection condition, then we've certainly mitigated the propensity for false calls, which could be potentially generated from that effort, from that human element, let's say. So no, you're absolutely right on the money with that. That's a very good point. As a matter of fact, very good example.
Yeah, no, and I'd imagine that's where a lot of the AOI, your competitors, are focusing too. How do we address that issue, right? Because that is critical.
Yeah, I think we're all, as I said, data now is the currency. It's the differentiator in terms of how we compete with the other folks that are in our space. So again, we're all pushing the envelope. We're trying to achieve the same end result. We feel like we have an advantage here between the data set that we're generating. The way we do it, the amount that we're able to gather, and knowing that it is, by far the most robust and accurate that the industry can provide, and then feeding that to, again, proprietary homegrown AI engines where we control the algorithm. We understand the parametrics of, if you will, of the data that we're using, and how to best apply them with the various applications that are needed to be able to create these tools that we're providing to our customers.
If I remember correctly, also with the K-Smart, you also have kind of the different menu options, right? Or the type of KPIs and what can be coming out of that. But those can also be customized for the need of the customer then, right?
They can. In fact, that's another very poignant piece to this, and to the smart factory realization initiative. The biggest complaint that we hear from customers in the marketplace in this space when it comes to data is the fact that they feel like they have to spend too much time mining for meaningful, actionable data. And so by creating tools and using, again, AI to potentially present to them the key parameters or top 2 or 3 things that really need to be looked at, without having to mine through data to come up with an actionable, a corrective action, is invaluable. And so that's really the drive behind the K-Smart tool set is first and foremost ongoing line optimization and improvement, right? And how do you do that? You do that by knowing where you're at any given point in time, and knowing if you're on the road or veering off the road and needing to get back on the road, and all the rest. So, providing the ability to be able to get to, yield information, drill down to the actual real root cause, is immensely important. And this is where, we've seen customers realize real results in the way of human intervention reduction, where now I maybe have one person that's monitoring, say, 3 lines of data, or more in some cases, as opposed to 3, because I've basically right-sized the method and the ability for them to get to the information that they need quickly to be able to do that, to be able to oversee a greater geographic swath, let's say, within the factory. And obviously, a big piece to that is quality improvement, reduction in rework, and it all comes back to dollars and cents, right? So you're reducing your cost, you're more profitable as a customer, you're more competitive in your space as a customer of ours. That's when we know we've hit a home run. That's the goal, right? If we can make our customers successful, then so too shall we be very successful. And that's really how we've gotten to where we're at.
Let me ask you, just came to mind as I heard you speaking there, one of the issues that a lot of EMS face, one of the challenges, has been that of the inventory burden that they're holding, right? And because they're holding historically high amounts, right? And that isn't just in the US, it's globally, for a whole bunch of reasons we don't need to get into. They just simply are, and they're trying to, flush some of that out. It's impeding some of their abilities to make investments that they want. And some of those investments, I think people might be some automation, right? So I'm wondering, as the sales guy as well, with the hat you wear, how are you seeing customers, people you're engaging with, are they assessing the ROI on the equipment differently in these circumstances? That's a reality that they're struggling with internally.
It is. Yeah, there's no doubt. And there's other factors that are coming into play right now as well, with just the overall, economic environment, and again, kind of some of the geopolitical stuff that we touched on earlier. But certainly, when you're cash strapped, you might not be able to, or maybe you can figure out a way to not need that piece of equipment today. Maybe you can wait, until which time that it is maybe more affordable and more readily justifiable. But you're going to do that as a trade-off for something that will help get you to that point faster, right? So it's really kind of a means to an end. And we've certainly seen an uptick in requests for additional help with implementation on a broader scale. And again, we've really tried to strive to be, a very scalable solution that can be applied globally. We have many global customers, and we're seeing that now really come to fruition, come into play, where these starting with projects from some of these customers locally, which they want to be able to copy exact to other locations around the world, in this effort to, again, reduce false calls, minimize human intervention up and down the line, and really implement the tools that we're providing to their fullest extent. Because there is so much to that. It's easy for some of these guys to just flip the switch and, okay, we're going, we're good, we're getting what we want, everything's good, everything's great, and you go on to other things. And then you get to a point where you say, okay, look, there's a lot more here that we can get from this tool set. How do we do that? How do we maximize the opportunity, whether it's something we've already invested in or something we plan to invest in as a tool set from Koh Young. And so we've kind of taken the approach where that's become a bigger priority for us to help our customers implement those K-Smart tools to a greater degree up and down the line, so they can, in fact, see the true benefit of what we're doing for them, as compared to maybe what they're being told by others in our space that can be done for them, right? So, some of that's really, I mean, again, it's a huge advantage for us to be able to help our customers get to that point, to really see the full value, realize the full value, and at that point, you've achieved your goal. They're more profitable, their quality's improved, their customers are happier, their business increases, and we've achieved our goal.
Good. Phil, excuse me, Joel, at the beginning, I did promise I'd give you 10 seconds to talk about any machines you want to. So do you know?
Oh,
give you your quick opportunity. No.
Well, I'll just say, come see us at SMT International. It's coming soon, yes. Early October, and we're already into September, so it's just about a month away. And that'll kick off the season, and then we'll be at SMT Guadalajara, and Productronic is coming up, and we've got some other engagements in between with partners. So we're gonna be out and about in
excellent,
October, November for sure.
Oh, no doubt. This was very good. Thank you for rolling along with me on this. I just thought it would be interesting to talk, because the environment is challenging right now for the industry, right? And in a lot of ways, for the materials, the human element is huge everywhere, and not just our industry, right? I mean, that's McDonald's is automating because
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So
no, it's and that's back to the original point that you made about the scarcity of people that either want to work or want to work in this particular sector going forward. So it is challenging, and yeah, you touched on some other things that we didn't get into, which encompass a much bigger piece of the whole smart factory realization with inventory and parts and ERP and tying all of this together. And there's obviously, as you know, a lot of people working on that as well. But we think we're on pace with our plan, on target to be able to truly implement a smart factory on a grand scale, multiple site facilities on a global basis, and we're doing it, and we'll continue to create new tools, evolve and improve the tools that are out there to take that even to the next level, right? To again get to that, or try best we can to get to that whole kind of lights out, self-healing approach that is what we all strive for.
Yeah, seemingly so. Joel, this has been excellent. I look forward to seeing you at one of these shows eventually, and let's definitely catch up again before the end of the year.
That sounds great. I always enjoy talking with you, Eric, and we can do it face to face. That's even better, right? Those are premium days now, aren't they?
They really are, aren't they? They really are.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Well, take good care. Thank you.
Thank you.